Hey everyone, fair warning. The stories today are the kind you don't forget easily. Real Reddit posts from real people, and that's exactly what makes them so unsettling. Subscribe for more, and let's dive in. The cleaner I hired through the app keeps rearranging things in my bedroom. I found a note, and now I'm terrified. 28-year-old female. You ever get that feeling that something is off about your space, but you can't quite put your finger on why? Like someone's been quietly moving things, just slightly out of place. For her, that feeling started small. A Wednesday morning, her alarm clock. I'm 28, live alone, and after work got hectic, I hired a cleaner through a task app. Someone recommended it, and rates were decent. I set up weekly Wednesday visits with someone who had solid reviews. I thought it'd help. The first couple weeks felt normal. Apartment was clean, trash was handled, done deal. But around week 3, I started noticing things that made my stomach twist. My alarm clock, the one on my nightstand, was sitting on the dresser. Could have been moved while dusting, right? But then I looked at my bookshelf. I have them organized a specific way. The entire collection was reversed, every spine facing the opposite direction. The following Wednesday, I found my pillow, the pillow I sleep on every single night, relocated to the foot of my bed. Not rumpled, not moved while changing sheets, placed there. That's when I realized what was actually happening. Someone was entering my bedroom, my private space. They weren't just cleaning, they were studying, touching my things in ways that made it obvious it was on purpose, deliberate, intimate. This person was inside my bedroom while I was at work, standing near my bed, going through my things, learning my routines, and I had invited them in. The realization crashed down on her. By the 4th week, she knew what was happening. That's when she reached for her pillow to straighten it before bed and found something waiting there. But that note wasn't where it ended, not even close. At first, I convinced myself I was paranoid. The alarm clock moved again on the 2nd Wednesday. My nightstand drawer, the one with my journal and personal things, was left ajar. I know how I close it. Then the books. My entire bookshelf in reverse order. Not rearranged, reversed. Like she ran her hands down the entire collection backwards just to prove she could. My pillows swapped. The rug in front of my bed rotated 90 degrees. There was a lavender smell that wasn't mine, lingering for hours after each visit. It seeped into my bedding, my clothes, like she deliberately touched everything, left her scent as a mark. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe this was how cleaners worked. But standing in my bedroom, I felt this crawling sensation. Nothing was wrong exactly, but everything was slightly off, deliberately off. Like she was learning me, my routine, my things, my weaknesses. On the 3rd visit, my journal was on my dresser. I keep it hidden in my nightstand. She'd found it, maybe read it, left it in plain sight with the cover facing up, a calling card. And I finally got it. She wasn't just cleaning, she was studying me. Every detail, and someone had paid her to do it. And that's when the paranoia didn't feel paranoid anymore. It felt necessary. It felt like survival instinct kicking in. Because this wasn't just about rearranging furniture. This was someone with a key to her apartment, access to her most private space, systematically documenting what she had, what mattered to her, how she lived. What really gets you, when you go through something like this, is realizing it wasn't random. Every single move was deliberate. This wasn't a cleaner getting careless. This was someone who knew exactly what they were doing, who was in your space for a reason. And that's the moment OP realized she needed to take this seriously. She wasn't dealing with a strange coincidence. She was dealing with someone who had access to her most intimate space and who was making sure she knew it. The question wasn't just what this cleaner wanted, it was who had hired her and why. That's where things went from unsettling to genuinely terrifying. I was putting laundry away in my bedroom that Thursday evening when I noticed something on my pillow. At first, I thought I'd forgotten to take something off the bed, but as I got closer, my stomach dropped. There was a sticky note. Plain yellow sticky note. In handwriting that was absolutely not mine, it said, "Sweet dreams." Just those 2 words, "Sweet dreams." I couldn't move for a full minute. My hands were shaking. This person had been in my bedroom on a Wednesday afternoon while I was at work and stood close enough to my bed to leave me a message. She didn't just rearrange things, she was watching, studying, leaving me signs that she knew I was onto her. I canceled the service immediately. Called the app, canceled the booking, 1-star rating with no explanation because I was too panicked to type anything coherent. Then I sat on my couch for 3 hours trying to figure out what to do. Should I call the police? About a sticky note? I felt insane even considering it. But the note made it real. This wasn't random rearranging. This was a person making sure I knew she'd been there. The comment section absolutely lost it. Please tell me police took this seriously. That sticky note is a calling card. She wanted you to know she'd been in your space, in your bed. This is deliberate harassment. The worst part is the uncertainty. He told you he knows where you live and you're alone. How is that not enough for police to treat this as an active threat instead of just stalking? The personal email is the terrifying part. That's not something a cleaner randomly finds. Whoever hired her has serious access to your life. Start there. Who's ever had your email? That's exactly what the detective said. I made a list of everyone. Old employers, exes, friends, family, dating apps I used years ago. It's a longer list than I want to admit. But he said whoever's doing this either knows me personally or has been collecting information for months. That conversation didn't help me sleep any better. Neither has the past 3 nights. That was the last she'd hear from that account. 3 days after canceling, her email popped up. I found out who hired her, and I realize now I should have seen the signs. I didn't sleep much after canceling the service. I kept replaying every detail, every moved object, trying to make sense of it. Then this morning, I got an email at my personal address, the one I never gave to the app. It was from Sarah, the cleaner. Her message was brief, but devastating. I wasn't hired by you. A man hired me through a fake account and paid me to rearrange your things and leave that note. I only realized what he was planning after I left your apartment. He told me something that scared me. She won't suspect the cleaner. She's alone too often. I should have asked questions. I should have refused. I'm sorry. I'm calling the police too. After her email came another one. No sender name, just an anonymous Gmail. One line. He knows where you live. He knows you're alone. S. That's when everything went dark. This wasn't a cleaner with boundary problems. This was someone who hired her. Someone with access to the app's infrastructure. Someone who created fake accounts to build credibility and get hired. Someone who orchestrated every single detail. Someone who knew my address. Someone who studied my routines through someone else's hands. The comment section absolutely came alive on this one. The pillow at the foot of the bed is what haunts me. That's not accidental. She was simulating something. That's beyond rearranging. That's leaving a message with your own belongings. Check the fake 5-star reviews on her profile. Those weren't from real customers. The person who hired her probably created those accounts to establish her credibility. That's a digital trail. This is it. The app definitely has IP logs and payment information tied to those review accounts. If police aren't already subpoenaing the app's data, they're missing the clearest lead. Those fake reviews point directly back to whoever orchestrated this. And that's where this part of the story sits. Still unresolved, still terrifying. On to the next one. So here's where the real aftermath lived. Not in the moment she found the note, but in everything that came after. OP did what anyone would do. Police report, locks changed, the works. I found out who hired her, and I realize now I should have seen the signs. I filed a police report the same day I found the note. The detective pulled the cleaning service records. Fake name, prepaid card, nothing traceable. Building CCTV had a blind spot near the side entrance. Perfect for him. The cleaner vanished from the app within hours of me canceling. No forwarding address, no way to trace her. But here's what gets to me. I installed 4 cameras, changed my locks, had a locksmith check the windows, reinforced everything, and I still don't sleep through the night. Not once in 3 months. I work from home now. I don't hire anyone. No cleaners, no maintenance, nothing. My therapist calls it hypervigilance, says I'm stuck replaying the moment I found that note. Maybe she's right. But knowing someone was in my bedroom while I slept, moving my pillow, rearranging my books, studying me, knowing they were never caught and there's no justice or explanation, that doesn't go away. The police closed the case. He's somewhere out there. The cleaner's a ghost, and I'm trapped in my own home because somewhere in this city, someone knows exactly where I sleep. And that's the thing about violation that sits with you. It's not the break-in or the theft. It's the being watched, the being studied, the being known. Comments on this one hit hard. I would genuinely never hire anyone to clean anything after this. Your home is supposed to be your sanctuary. This is a violation that destroys all sense of safety. And on to the next one.
I think my husband's sister has been stalking me for 3 years, and I just realized how deep it goes. 3 years of marriage. 3 years of what should have been a normal life with a normal family. But nothing about Sarah was ever normal. When I married David 3 years ago, I thought I was gaining a normal family. Sarah was the first to welcome me, maybe too enthusiastically. She wanted to do everything with me: shopping, yoga, coffee. When I set boundaries, she got cold. Real cold. Then things got strange. I'd be at my favorite coffee shop on a Tuesday and Sarah would show up. Or at yoga. My restaurant? Same thing. My husband kept saying it was coincidence. I tried not to read into it, but it was constantly happening. Last month, David said we were taking a surprise weekend trip, just telling his parents. 4 hours away. I was excited about alone time until we pulled into the driveway and Sarah's car was already there. My stomach dropped. Something in me knew it was time to check something I'd been avoiding. That night, while everyone slept, I pulled up our shared location app. Sarah has had access for 2 years. I started cross-referencing. Every location matched. The coffee shop I go to Thursday mornings. The gym I work out Tuesdays and Saturdays. The restaurant where I met my mom last month. She wasn't there randomly. She was tracking me, following my every movement. This wasn't coincidence. This was calculated. This was surveillance. And this is where the reality of it hit her. Not random chance. Not a coincidence factory. Systematic tracking. OP realized this wasn't about being included in her life. Sarah had been documenting her life, photographing her, learning her patterns not to be close, but to possess her completely. The evidence was all there in the location data, years of it. The worst part wasn't the realization itself. It was what came next when she tried to tell her husband what she'd found. So OP started digging deeper into the impossible coincidences. If Sarah had access to her location in real time, that alone was a violation of trust and privacy. But what else was there? She decided to search her own name on Instagram, not just scrolling through Sarah's public account like any concerned sister-in-law might. She went looking for something she wasn't even sure existed. That's when things got darker. What I found made my stomach drop. There was a second account, completely private, no followers listed, just sitting there in the search results like a loaded gun. The username was innocuous, nothing that screamed Sarah, but the content made my blood freeze. 847 posts, and they were all of me. Not memes she'd saved or screenshots of photos I'd shared, original photographs, hundreds and hundreds of them. I don't know how long I sat scrolling. Some were taken from my coffee shop, some from the parking lot of my gym. There were close-ups shot through storefront windows while I was inside shopping, unaware. Zoom lens work, all of it, which meant she'd been shooting from a distance, deliberately not wanting to be seen. The oldest photos dated back 4 years. 4 years. Not 3 like the marriage. This started before I even met my husband. Each photo had metadata attached. Location tags down to the parking lot coordinates, street addresses, exact timestamps. I cross-referenced them against my own photos, my calendar, even old text threads with friends about where I'd been. Every single one matched. The timing gaps were consistent too. Sometimes there were only minutes between when I'd leave a location and when her photos were timestamped from the same spot. Sometimes hours. Like she was learning my schedule, mapping my patterns, studying me. The metadata on the images showed the camera model and settings, the precise moment each one was captured. This wasn't stalking in the way I'd been thinking about it. This was something more methodical. This was documentation, systematic, meticulous. 4 years of my life, reduced to angles and timestamps, and no one else even knew it existed.
Reading through 4 years of secret photographs of yourself, captured without your knowledge or consent, will break something inside you that you didn't know was breakable. The violation isn't just that you were watched, it's that you were studied, documented, collected.
But the real horror was in the photographs themselves. When I opened that folder, I felt sick. Not random snapshots, a catalog. Each was time-stamped and geotagged. Some dated back 3 years. A series from my coffee shop, the same corner table, shot from different angles over 6 months. Zoomed shots through the yoga studio glass. My face in close-up. My hands around a cup. My hair styled different ways. Parking lot shots of me getting into my car. Me walking to the grocery store. The dates jumped around. Tuesday afternoon, Thursday morning, Saturday evening. Like Sarah had been tracking my schedule and practicing different approaches. The Zoom work told me everything. She wasn't standing beside me. She was shooting from parking lots and streets, places I couldn't see her. She was studying me. The captions made it worse. Her favorite dress, the way she smiles, morning routine. She was documenting me like a research subject, not a sister-in-law, a specimen. That's when I understood. Sarah didn't want to hurt me visibly. She wanted to possess me, own me, own every detail, every movement, every moment, in a way that was intimate and deliberate and complete. She wanted to know me so thoroughly that I became hers to own. That's what made this worse than violence. It was love twisted into something predatory. The comments did not hold back. This is absolutely terrifying, and your husband's response is worse. The metadata, the zoom lenses, the 800+ photos. This is a crime. Document everything and go to police regardless of whether he supports it. Do not confront Sarah again. Do not let her know you found the account. Someone this obsessed and rejected can escalate dangerously. Police and lawyer first, then action. She built a fantasy relationship in her mind, and rejection made her escalate to covert control. This is obsessive attachment. When the rejection came, she didn't stop. She doubled down. That's dangerous psychology. And things were about to get worse. When she finally read those captions, it wasn't the photos that shattered her. It was the narration. Sarah had been keeping notes. Sarah came to my house and I found surveillance equipment in her car. I kept scrolling. Every single photo had a caption, and they weren't random. Learning her favorite vendors, building our connection. She doesn't know how special she is. Farmers market photos. 6 close-up shots of my face from different angles, taken with a zoom lens I never noticed. Caption read, "Learning her." Learning her, like I was a subject, a project. I printed everything, the metadata, the timeline, 847 photographs across 4 years. I laid it all out for my husband, showed him the zoom lens work, showed him the timestamps proving she knew where I'd be before I left the house. I thought once he saw it, once he understood the scope, he'd get it. Instead, he exploded. Not at Sarah, at me. He said I was invasive, that I had no right snooping through her private account. I tried to explain. She'd been stalking me for years, but he wouldn't listen. Said Sarah clearly admires me, that I should be flattered by the attention. I told him those aren't admiration photos, they're documentation, study notes, possession. He refused to look at the metadata, refused to acknowledge what this means. She's always been intense, but she's harmless, he kept saying. Harmless. And then he left. Guest room. Won't talk to me. Because accepting the truth about his sister means his family is broken. The hidden account with zoom lens metadata is systematic surveillance. This isn't sisterly interest. This is predatory obsession. You have proof. Your husband's denial is gaslighting. Save everything right now. Metadata, screenshots, credit card statements, flight receipts. Talk to a family law attorney about a restraining order. Your husband's support isn't required, only evidence. Also document going forward, dates, times, locations where you see her or suspect her presence. Lawyers need a clear pattern.
And check if she's been accessing your shared location data without permission. Some states have strict stalking laws that apply even to family members. The thing is, everyone saw it. Everyone understood what those captions meant. Everyone except the one person who was supposed to protect her. So OP came back. There was an update. Sarah came to my house and I found surveillance equipment in her car. Everything escalated when Sarah showed up at my door. My husband was at work. She said she wanted to talk. I told her to leave. She refused. When she finally left, I found a tablet mounted under her car's passenger seat, aimed at the driveway. The app was unfamiliar, tied to IP addresses near my home. Camera feeds. 4 years of them. I went to police. They said without explicit threats, it's a gray area. The lawyer explained a restraining order is complicated. She'd argue she was protecting me out of love. That's their word for surveillance. My husband came home and I showed him the tablet. He said it could be a mistake. Maybe she was trying to protect me, he said. Not harm me. Protect. I stopped talking to him that day. I deleted every social media account. I changed my routes. I check mirrors constantly. I vary my schedule. I'm trying to disappear from her view even as I'm still living the same life, just smaller. The lawyers say filing charges is difficult without direct threats. Even now, I feel her watching. And here's the trap. The surveillance is documented. The evidence is irrefutable. But the law sees no clear violation. No threats, no break-ins, no direct harm. Just presence. Just knowing. Just 4 years of a sister-in-law learning every corner of a stranger's life. The police can't help. The lawyers say it's complicated. And the person who should be her shield, her partner, he's gaslighting her into thinking she's paranoid. She's erased herself from social media. She varies her routes like she's running surveillance on her own life. She checks mirrors obsessively. She's shrinking to survive a family she married into. She's trapped between self-preservation and keeping the marriage, between disappearing and staying alive in it. The comment section understood the real horror. Your husband refusing to believe documented proof is emotional abuse. He's prioritizing his sister over your safety. That's a marriage problem as serious as the stalking problem. That is the last story for today.